So spaza shops are gold. Spaza shops are a 300 billion rand industry. So that's how much they are generating on an annual basis. 300 billion rands. So I think with 300 billion rands, we can actually achieve a lot as black businesses in South Africa. If you take a look at the high unemployment rate amongst youth, it's probably at 60%. So we are a giant of unemployment in South Africa. So South Africa has the highest unemployment rate. And then we have people coming here from outside of South Africa to dominate or to control a market or a sector where no science is required. So these are markets that South Africans can easily take advantage of with the correct strategy and support. So they are absolutely gold. In every way they are gold, because that's a beautiful start. I know people are talking about why aren't we going after Mzungu? Yeah, Rasta is no Rasta. Are you here? Can you come back and pose the questions that you are posing? Ukuthi abantu future are going after QT, your poor or your vulnerable Ethiopians and Somalian keepers without going after Umlung. But then what I'm saying is that we need the gold in the form of spaza shops to accumulate resources and influence before we can start approaching Mzungu, or before we can start competing with Mzungu. So on average, spaza shop, like a fully fledged spaza shop in the township, I'm from Soweto, they have the potential to make 5,000 rands a day, which is equivalent to 160,000 rands on a monthly basis, under 2 million or over 2 million rands on an annual basis. That's like 5.2% of our GDP, spaza shops. So spaza shops are definitely gold. And Chuti, I would
why did you guys wait for so long? Why did we wait so long to only take notice of the spaza shops? The spaza shops were always South Africans. How did you, as Lishe, let that happen, that a Somalian owns a spaza shop in your area? I'm not going far, I'm just talking about your area. Why did you and your community let a Somalia own a spaza shop, knowing the information you know now?
Well, spaza shops initially or before. So like, let me just make a distinction. There's a spaza, before the arrival of the Somalians and the dominating of the Somalians and Ethiopians in the townships, we had what we refer to as general dealers. So there's a difference between a general dealer and a spaza shop. So a general dealer, which was owned by South African, yeah, it had a profit motive, but it was family owned. So we would know Wuti, the Shandu family owned several general dealers across Soweto. So that was for a profit motive. They were in business for a profit. And then with regards to the spazas, it was all about the subsistence and surviving. So the spaza shops that were owned by South Africans prior to the invasion of Ethiopian and Somalians, they were for survivalist measures. So
are we banking off of what they tend the spaza shops to be? We had the spaza shops. Why didn't we tend the spaza shop that was based on substance and not make it profitable? Are we now trying to exploit the market that they tapped into? And then,
it was the South Africans buying power anyhow. So in general, I was explaining Uguti, the general dealers, those people. So the general dealers, it was a profit motive, but as the Shandu family, there was never a mentality, or we never spoke with one voice as the various general dealers. It was about Chuti empowering my family. It was about the Shandu family. That is the culture Eguguti existed before the invasion of Ethiopians and Somalians. So,
and then my question, I'm asking, you had spazas. why did we fail to transform them
because they were survivalist businesses, because the majority of them, which were run by your moms, your single parents in the townships, they were survivalist businesses. Should
So
they want my hand to mouth
what are we going to
businesses?
do differently now? Now, when we take them back, what are we going to do differently? Are we going to use the same model, or we are going to continue with the models that the Somalians had turned this Spaza shops into?
We are going, okay, so we're refining the model that Somalians and Ethiopians have introduced, but there's not so much in as far as strategy. They don't have a strategy, they're not competitive. They just had a strategy, say, buying power. So Noguti, they are in a position to negotiate for better prices because the wholesalers from which they procure their inventory is Muslim. So your brotherhood,
What are you gonna refine?
Suthi uzongimela ukuthi ngiqede ngicela ukuqeda ukuphendula my sister.
Yeah, no. While you are pendulating me, you said refining, because you're throwing around words that I like.
Refining. Should we refining?
How are you going to refine it? How are you going to refine the current model of Spazas? What are you going to do differently?
Okay, first of all, Shuti, majority of these Spaza shops, Mongatu uyabheka the condition under which they operate. Shuti, it's not very appeasing. There's nothing attractive about them. They are rodent infested, angazi shacks, they piss in, they sleep in, they don't even follow Shuti basic laws or protocol legislation from the municipalities. They don't have a simple thing like fire extinguishers. So there's nothing special about it. And then another challenge we've picked up is the fact that they're manufacturing their own counterfeit goods. We understand. So what we do as South Africans is sort of formalize a structure. That's how we can run it. If we can formalize it, if we can come together as South Africans and own a Spaza shop, multiple Spaza shops as collectives, as opposed to individuals. We understand, my sister. Those are just some of the measures. Housing, we understand that we don't have such, and procuring directly from the manufacturer, from the agro processor, as opposed to continue going to wholesalers. We understand that wholesalers, we're never going to be competitive as South African Spaza shop owners if we're going to continue supporting these Muslim wholesalers. It won't work. So as a result, EPE, Tina, as a registered entity under ECIPC, we get for free what we call EPE certificate. So ngalo PE certificate, is nama advantages which we can work directly ne Tiger Brands, we can work directly ne RCL Foods, which will enable us to further reduce the cost of business, and then that will be felt by the customers that will be procuring the products from us.
Let me ask this, and that is a wonderful structure. So I'm asking you now, the Spaza shops currently, the model is that is tax exempt, and you are going to refine it to be a model that now pays tax. How are you planning to recoup the profit in doing that? Because tax will then filter it down to customers. So you're taking a model that is currently tax exempt and refining it to be tax compliant. And that will mean that your business will have to pay tax on the profit, which is currently exempt. So even if you capitalize on, let's say, 10% of what you're taking the profit to 10% higher, you're going to pay 28% more tax than now, because currently the Spaza shops are not taxable, they are tax exempt. So your refinement will then mean that it will have to pay tax. Is that going to be sustainable?
Thank you very much for that question. So Tingwenze, the practical example. So me now as an individual, I'm gonna start running. Let's say I open up 15 Spaza shops. Ne? So if an individual Spaza shop, okay, so I've got methods on how to motivate and encourage customers by going to schools and coming up with campaigns that will ensure that people only buy from me. Somalians and Ethiopians don't have no marketing campaign. They don't have no advertisement campaign. They don't invest in the community. Even if there's a sale at ShopRite for bread, we never have a sale for bread with the Somalians and Ethiopians. So there are a lot of opportunities that they're actually not taking advantage of. So if I'm procuring directly from the manufacturer or the agro processor, already, Chuti, I've reduced the cost of doing business significantly, despite the fact that I'm paying tax. And then I've got methods on how to go about in ensuring that people only buy from my 15 Spaza shops as opposed to the Ethiopian Spaza shops, because the Ethiopian Spaza shops don't have any proactive measures to ensure my customers stay. They don't have any competitions. They don't have any corporate social responsibility initiative. All they do is just give the pensioners QTE credit, something which we can also do. So there are various measures, some of which I cannot mention because I see we've got Ethiopians and Somalians on the line. So tax is not a problem.
So the lesser the cost, the higher the profit, means the higher tax being paid. I ask you this question again.
We don't have we South Africans, we patriotic South African businesses, we don't have a problem with paying a tax if our store is making 2 million rands.
Ask the question, my brother. Family, we like to keep the platform very educative so that we are engaging. We're not saying South Africans don't take tax shops back. We take this platform and this panel to educate ourselves and provide better input and text. So I urge you all, I will be asking hard questions to even Somalians, I need to ask so that we see that are we prepared? Do we know the right information? Because we will be getting information. So allow me, my brother, it has nothing to do with patriotism. We are talking business right now. I'm asking you, the current business Spaza model is tax exempt. So when you refine it, you will be making it not tax exempt, it will have to be tax compliant. Will it still be able to maintain profit? Right now, if it's making R1 billion collectively, that R1 billion is not taxable. When you refine it to make 1.5 billion, you will be required to at least pay about between 15 to 28% depending on your profit. How are you planning? Is that a workable refinement to the business, or is it not better to keep the current model because of it is tax exempt?
Current model does not work for South African business. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Which already as South Africans who are trying or who have been involved in this space, we do consider isn't a final tax my wages already, because I'm not going to sit in the shop shoot for 16 hours a day. So we have to employ the locals, because if we're going to operate across Soweto, I can't be across Soweto alone at the same time. So we've made considerations for its tax already, my sister. We understand that. We've made shooty consideration for its tax. We've got measures Somalians are not implementing. That's a competitive advantage on how we can increase our sales. We understand that with business there are measures shooting my instrument Somalians and my Ethiopians are not putting in place to ensure my sales increase. Mara, there's no need, because already they are not paying tax like you are saying. So obviously, as a South African who's going to take advantage of this sector, we make considerations of e-tax. We know which we have to pay e-tax as soon as we start garnering or accumulating a certain amount of money within our businesses.
Powerful. Thank you so much, Lishe. I'm giving you 2 minutes to round up your submission on the topic. and I will then hand over to Jay for his submission. Please round up my brother, and then I'll bring in Jay.
Thank you, the sister. Thank you, the sister. So, like I was saying, like obviously, we are South African businesses. We prioritize our country. We would like to set up amashop ukuthi they're very appetizing. They're very encouraging. Ukuthi uyothenga kuwo. Very welcoming to South African, very not an ISO izinto ukuthi zingena amagundwane ngaphansi kumele sithela ama-alpirimi, then kids get unalive. No. Should we talking about future professionalized structure, not necessarily formalizing the structure, but reforming the sector. So obviously, as a business person, we know ukuthi mele kube ne-tax ebhadalwayo so that leyo mali ye-tax can go towards assisting other entrepreneurs start their businesses and can ensure ukuthi services in South Africa are rendered to the mass population, my sister. I wish Rasta was here because ngiyabona abanye bekabashanga ama-question engathi uyaba-intimidate like Aslali. We want our economy back. So just to round off, or just to conclude, what we're saying is that we are going to fight to own and dominate the market share of the Spaza shop sector. You understand that? And should it conform to the laws of the country and be tax-paying citizens or business people. We understand that. We're going to start off with the rural township as well as in the informal settlements, and then garner as much financial resources as possible and master it and consolidate it so that only South Africans can participate and take advantage of the various opportunities within this sector. Shuti sizo refiner to such a point to Wuti, we're not saying they should go forcefully. Ethiopian will outcompete them. They don't have a strategy. The only strategy they had.
In my humble opinion, I don't think taking a business which is tax exempted, and maybe we need to look into why the government decided to exempt it for tax purposes, refine it to be a taxable entity, because thank you, my brother.
But from a job creation perspective, from a value addition perspective, from a corporate social responsibility perspective, Shuti, the money, like 300 billion is a lot of money that can be retained within our communities, my sister. But I don't expect you to get it. You're not in the sector.
You're asking, no, I'm not in the sector, I'm sure. We're not getting, it's not about being in the sector, my brother. It doesn't make sense to subject a 3 billion rand industry.
300 billion, not 3 billion.
No,
it's close to our GDP.
Thank you, my brother. It doesn't make sense to subject an industry that makes 300 billion and it's not taxed. You subject it to 28% tax. But thank you. Thank you, my brother. I'm not in the sector, but that doesn't make sense that 300 billion rand. Wait,
but I told to the good. Good right, farmer's daughter, sharp.
Thank you. Jay, do you think it's wise to turn a 300 billion rand industry that is not taxed to be a taxable entity?
Okay, first of all, we have to, Uli is saying that 300 billion is close to our GDP. It's not even half, it's not even quarter, it's not even one, it's tiny. Our GDP is close to 3 trillion. You understand? So the 300 you're confusing the US dollars with rands. You understand? Our GDP in dollars is 400 billion in dollars. In rands is 3 trillion, close to 3 trillion. You understand? That's where you're getting it wrong. And my brother, you were saying that you need to be very careful when you submit. You were saying that South African unemployment rate is at 60%. It's not at 60%, and I'm sure
I
you
was
know
referring
it's
to
not.
the youth unemployment, my brother,
It's
not the general.
33.5. It's
No,
33.5.
that's the general unemployment. I'm not talking about general unemployment. Youth unemployment. Let's not argue for the sake of arguing. Youth unemployment. Yes.
Okay.
It's very important. It employs a lot of people, as you said, farmer's daughter. At some point, that it was it was ran by single headed households. So that's very important. But I want to say to you guys, name that what you must understand is that if foreigners have taken over the selling, right, that's a value chain. Every business has a value chain. It's not just the physical shop. South Africans own a very big part of the value chain, which is the property. Everybody knows that a foreigner, whatever Magula or whatever the case may be, is renting from a South African. So we haven't lost the market. We have a part of the market which is very crucial, and that's what we need to utilize in this billion-dollar industry. So, for example, if as South Africans, we understood that, okay, I don't really have the time or the energy or the know-how, as the previous speaker alluded to, so you don't know the know-how. Sharp, let the foreigner come and sell, but you still own the property. You're still part of the value chain. You still have an opportunity to make your money there. So renting to them at 800 when people are making thousands a month, it's not doing you any favors. And now you're taking out your frustrations on the person who's just doing a day job. Why? You literally own the property. Why don't you increase the rent, right? Okay. Also reminded me that someone was speaking about tax, right? These people must be taxed. So as South Africans, we can benefit. Number one, our properties, your garage that was not being in use is now being in use. You make money. You see that this person is making thousands of rands a month. They must be taxed. That's how we make our money. Okay. So next up, what I wanted to say was talk about the issue of us being called xenophobic, right? It's a hot word. It's like it's an insult now. When someone says you're xenophobic, it's becoming a very touchy subject. Guys, I just want to say, xenophobia is a form of bigotry, like racism or homophobia and whatnot, right? So when we're saying that you're xenophobic, it means you're being bigoted. Because if you have a problem with a foreigner who's doing something illegal, you have a problem with that person. Don't have a problem with the whole country or the whole community of foreigners. Say it's Mang, that gula there by my street is selling illegal things. Because now when you're saying that all of them, you're becoming bigoted. Hence the xenophobia word comes in. Now it's like you're generalizing, just like how when white people assume that maybe you're not educated or something just because you're black, they're being racist because they're boxing you, they're being bigoted. So what I want to say is that the reason why we say that you are xenophobic is because you are generalizing. That's literally the definition. You are generalizing. Just because you were robbed by a Zimbabwean, now suddenly the whole country of Zimbabwe are robbers. Of course they are not. Of course they are not. Okay, next up, yeah.
To sum up, my
So
sister,
also,
then timing, I gave you 4 minutes. You have 1 minute. Please let's sum up to open up the floor for questions for you. Then you can further engage. So let's say 2 minutes. Wrap up. I've got a long queue. I need to accept more people. Sorry. Let's sum up in 2 minutes, and then I will be asking you questions, and I'll give me Shali. The floor to also give to ask you a question before I also let go of her. So 2 minutes, my sister. Let's wrap up on your points, and I'll still keep you for questions.
people, when you say this, people will say that you're a Jolofina, you're dating Nigerians. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter whether or not I'm dating a Nigerian. It's very much irrelevant because the truth is just the truth, right? So what I wanted to say also is that now, guys, I believe in Pan-Africanism, and I believe that the only way that any African country is going to grow, all these problems that you're saying, oh, these people, why don't they fix the problems in their own countries, is because we are not united as Africans. You have Europe that has the EU. You can literally take a train from France to Portugal because they made that system that way. They understand that the only way for you to succeed.
Let's keep it on tech shops for now. We will have another topic for on Pan-Africanism, but I don't want people, because what tends to happen, people will then come in and submit on Pan-Africanism, and it will throw the algorithm of the live away. So let's just keep it on Spaza and that, my sister, please.
Okay, so yeah, I guess in conclusion, it's just that if you have a problem with Spaza Squad, they're selling fake things or they don't have papers and whatnot, that is a crime problem. That's a Department of Police problem. That's a Department of Home Affairs problem. Attack the government, attack the establishment. Don't attack the individual. And if the individual is doing a crime, let them be arrested. Call the police and get them arrested. Because what you guys are doing now is that you're creating a stigma. Well, I'm just using you guys in general. Don't be offended if you don't do that. But yeah, like attack the establishment. The government is the government is using resources that were meant for these kind of things, like food inspections. They were supposed to be inspecting in the first place. We were not supposed to be in this situation because there are people who are employed to be doing these things. So instead of being mad at the person who's just here trying to make a living, please attack the government. All these protests and all these frustrations, they should be taken to the government, the people who are actually employed and get paid to do this job. Yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Fight the government. Xa isela, when a thief get like arobe kokwenu, will you beat that person or will you fight the law for not protecting you?
Well, in reality, I'm a girl. Obviously, I'm not going to beat that person. In any case, it's illegal in South Africa to do that. You need to call the police. That's just what it is. And right now what I'm saying is that if someone is doing a crime, yes, let's hold them accountable. But if I come and rob your house and now you start saying petty people from Limpopo, they're all thieves, they must come and they must, like, why are you stigmatizing the whole of Limpopo and petty people just because you don't like me? Why don't you go and open a case? I get it's me.
My sister, I think you are misinformed when you say it's illegal to beat someone. When someone trespasses in your property, you have the right to you can beat that person up.
Yes, if your life is in danger. If your life is in danger. Yes, if your life is in danger. So what I'm saying to you is that what you're arguing for, it's a problem at Department of Police. Let's attack the police. So why are they not doing their job? The food inspectors that are employed to do this very job, they're not doing it. I'm telling you, there's someone who's getting paid every single month. They get paid to do this job, of which they're not doing. They only do it when the police must be called, the law must take its course. But then now what we're doing is that we're creating this narrative that all foreigners are bad, of which they are not. And these people are coming here just to survive. Everyone is trying to survive. Every black person is trying to survive.
Can I kindly pose a question, please? Just one question.
Okay, no, family, that's not how it works on Hosea's live. Only moderators are allowed to pose questions. The minute panelists are posing questions to each other, the panel degenerates, and we are going to have people that feel bullied, and we want Makatla to come back to this live. Just because we are asking her questions, she shouldn't feel like we are bullying her. We are also just trying to engage. Makatla, yes, so you can when you submit, you can touch on the points she made to correct her, if you want to correct her. Makatla, you touched on the issue of Spaza shops paying tax. My question to you is that, do you know what a business must do in order for it to pay tax?
So this recent development where the president was saying all the Spaza shops must be registered, I fully support that. Hence, I was referring to the inspectors, because in the first place, whether you're running a formal or informal business, it should have been registered. So if the Spaza shop is not registered, I support that they go and make sure that that Spaza shop is registered, is complying. If you are under, I think it's 1 million or 500,000 revenue, you don't pay tax, but you do submit your tax returns. So Nagiri, these people, they must be, all of them must be registered so that we can know who should be paying tax and who's not. But for us to say that all of them must go, or we stigmatize all of them, no, there are literally people who are employed to make sure that all businesses are registered. Those people are not doing their jobs. And instead of us being mad at the people who are being paid for nothing, we are mad at someone who's just here trying to make a living. And I saw someone here who said that people who are selling powder are trying to make a living. No, they are not.
Makata, ignore the comments. When you're up the panel, just focus on us. The comments will derail you, my sister. Ignore them. Let them talk alone there. They are down there.
All right.
Whoever wants to confront you, they must request. Makata, do you know the difference between a CIPC certificate and a permit?
A permit for what? Like a residential permit, like the one that asylum seekers would typically use, or a business permit?
It's a business permit, because what the president talked about is a business permit, and a permit is in no way a document that makes you tax liable or tax. You're not gonna get registered for tax when you have a permit. It just gives you the permission to run a business and gives you the framework and guidelines on how you need to run the business. So the permit and a CIPC document. So just to answer the question I posed to you, in order for a business in South Africa to pay tax, it must be registered at the CIPC. As soon as you register a business family, you are given a tax number. The permit that are being issued, they are just being issued to say you have the right to run a business, and this is the framework in which you need to run them. So it has nothing to do with tax. So my question to you then, after that clarification, is that will subjecting them to CIPC registration not exclude them, or not, what is the right word? What is the right word? Yeah, English is skipping me. Will it not really exclude them from the economic participation? Will they not be further excluded by expecting them to register for tax purposes? And is Spaza shop making big turnover to a point where they can be taxed?
No, I get not everyone pays tax. The point is they're going to look at your revenue and decide if you are liable for tax or not. What we want is for that document to be there. The document that is there to decide if you are making this much revenue, then it should be taxed or not. We just want that framework. So now what I'm saying is that the fight should not be about are they living or not. The fight should be they should be registered. The tax authorities should be on them. The food inspectors should be on there. Like everything's it's a mega line, because even if we can argue that they're taking business from South Africans, I don't think so, because I think that South Africans still own the value chain. As I mentioned, the property, we own the property, and I think maybe some of people can agree with me on this live. Property is a very, very valuable thing. Like we literally own the property. We are the price makers in the property market. So why are we not using that power that we have to make sure that we are also making money from there? Imagine you just have a garage at your house that's not occupied, and then a foreigner is saying, I will do the day to day, I will sell, I will wake up, I will do all of these things. All I do at the end of the month is give you the money.
But will it not generate a tax for the landlords? But you have a business that is exempted for tax purposes. For the sake of just not, I just need you to pound on that. Let me just give over to the mic to Jay. I need you to ponder on the fact that if you are renting.
My sister, I caught you before Jay.
Jay is a moderator. He's just gonna ask a question and not submit, and then we are coming to you, my brother. Jay, do you have a question for Makata?
Okay, I just want to say something. I just want to say something quickly. It's a question, and it's a small submission. Sorry, guys. I know, Lisha, you want to submit, and I just want to say, first of all, I'm so happy to see youngsters coming on the panel and engaging in this kind of topics. I'm not gonna be long. You'll drop me after this. I just want to say that, you see, guys, I understand that you have the zeal, you are vibrant as young people, but you need to not always start where you guys are. You need to go back a little bit. And I wanted to submit based on the tuck shop issue because two of the ladies, the way that they speak, I take them as they qualify to become.
Are you submitting? Are you submitting? Then let's start.
Oh, okay.
Yes. If you're not asking a question, I thought you had a question. Makatla, thank you so much, my sister. Let me drop you and Mihlali off. Mihlali, please stay in the comments. I will pull you up again. I just have a long queue. I'll